Hi everyone, so in this video I'm going to show you how I got my hair from the bright red that it had been for like a year to this half blue half black. It's kind of like a really dark blue but it's still kind of black. I am having to film the intro on my phone because I'm in the process of moving out of my student flat to my living back with my parents, and I can't find my camera charger anywhere, but I look thinner from this angle anyway, so it's all good. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have any questions just feel free to ask. I'm not really feeling the centre parting on myself, but I mean I split it straight down the middle, so there's not a lot that I can do about that. Just kind of got to wait for like this fringy bit to grow. But yeah, we'll go over to voice over me now, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Bye. So this is everything that I needed to do my hair blue and black. The first thing was the black hair dye. It's actually a blue black by Garnier, and I got these on eBay. I think I got 5 of them for $12.99. And I also needed the bright blue, which was Directions Atlantic blue, and I got 4 of these on eBay as well. I will link everything in the description bar, but most things I did get on eBay. Got a hair colour remover, just got the cheapest one from Savers. I think this was $3.99 and it's an extra strength one. I always use this same one rather than the actual colour before because it's cheaper. So because I'm going from red to blue, I needed a 40 volume developer, and I also got this on eBay as well as my powder bleach. I will link that in the description bar. I repurchase the same one every time. From Savers I also got some white conditioner to mix with the blue hair dye, and some silver shampoo because I'm bleaching my hair and I want to get rid of any yellow that I can. I also got my bowls and brushes from Savers, but I got those quite a long time ago, but you can just get them anywhere, even the pound shop. And these are the hair extensions that I'm using. I've bought these quite a few times before. I'll link them in the description bar, but they are really good hair extensions and they're fairly decent for the price as well. So the first thing that I did was that I put on my usual hair dyeing t-shirt. It's important to put on a t-shirt that you don't really care about, because not only does like bleach stain and hair dye stain, but the hair colour remover absolutely stinks, and I wouldn't want to grip it on any of my clothes because even when you wash it, it doesn't come out all the way. There's no like actual trick to doing this. You just mix parts 1 and 2 of the hair colour remover together, and I just slathered it all over my hair. I didn't need to be like neat with it or anything, I just needed to make sure that all my hair was saturated. I did miss a few little spots underneath, but for the most part it removed the hair colour easily. Usually when I wash my hair, I do top my hair colour up with a bit of hair dye in my conditioner, but for the past few times I've washed it, I've just kind of let it fade, which is why it's this, I mean it's kind of a nice orange, but it's not obviously my red that I'm used to. But I let it fade a decent amount so there wasn't too much colour build up on the surface, and I left the colour remover on for about an hour. I've never really left it on that long before, but I just wanted to make sure that I got to like maximum potential. I felt like it lifted so much out. So after an hour, pretty much all the red that I've deposited into my hair for the past year had gone. As you can see in a moment, it's completely yellow and no longer red, and you have to make sure that you wash it out with the treatment buffer that comes with it. It might seem like a wasted step, but if you don't use this, the hair dye can be oxidised when you apply new hair colour, so you just wasted everything that you just did. So even though my hair seemed like it was a really light colour, it was still too yellow to put a blue onto it. So I'm just mixing up some bleach here, and I did 3 scoops of the powder bleach, but I don't really know the measurement of how much peroxide that I put into it. I usually just eyeball it and wait till I get like a pasty consistency, so I'm pretty much just squeezing it in and then just mixing it. I did cover my table with a bin bag for the most part of this because, well, I mean I'm probably not going to get my deposit back from my flat anyway, but better safe than sorry. So I'm just mixing it up, and I made a little bit too much, but I'd rather have too much than not enough, because otherwise you're scraping to try and get it to last and it just ends up really patchy. So I made quite a pasty consistency and just had enough to cover the left side of my head. So to start the actual colour process, I split my hair right down the middle. I don't usually have a centre parting, so this is a bit of like weird territory for me. I just split it down the middle and I applied the bleach to the part where my hair would be the lightest blue, but there was no point damaging the other side of my head any further if I was just going to put a black on. So I basically just started at the ends because that's where the most colour was, it was where it was the most brightest yellow. And then after I'd got it all on the end, I then started applying it to the roots because obviously your roots lift a lot faster. And I think I left the bleach on for about 30 minutes. There's no like set time, they say that you shouldn't leave it on for too long, but you can sort of see when your hair is lifting, and you can see some of the spots that I missed, so I need to pay extra attention to them. When I saw that my hair was light enough to wash the bleach off, when I was happy that my hair had lightened to the most it possibly could, then I washed it out and put some silver shampoo on it. So this is it with the silver shampoo on. I actually didn't get a clip of how light my hair had gone with the bleach. I just applied the silver shampoo all over to the side of my head that was going to be the lighter colour, and then I just went in with the black on the other side so that I could wash them both out at the same time. I sectioned off the bit of hair that was closest to my parting so that I could get a more precise application, but for the most part I just went in with my hands and just smothered the hair dye all over my head, and it, as you can see, it developed pretty quickly, so it's easy to see what you have and haven't missed. I did miss a little spot, but my friend Harry came to my rescue and fixed the back for me, so thank you very much for that, Harry. And as you can see, it's kind of messy. I did get it absolutely all over my face, but it wasn't too hard to get off. I just found that when I scrubbed it with a face wipe a few times, it came off pretty easily. So when I'd pretty much covered that whole half of my head, I let down the section that was closest to my parting, and I applied it with my hands, but then nearer the roots I used a brush, just so that I could be really precise and not cross over to the other side of the parting. So moving on to the bright blue, like I said, I used Atlantic Blue by Directions, and I did mix it with conditioner, and the way that I made sure that I got the same ratio for each pot that I mixed up is that I emptied the pot out into the bowl and then filled the pot up with conditioner and then emptied that into the same bowl, and that way I knew that every time I made up a fresh pot I was getting the same amount of dye to conditioner. And this conditioner smells really, really nice, and it was only 99p, and it just was the right consistency to mix with the hair dye so that it was a nice, I like my hair dye to be quite thin so that I can spread it on easily. So I just applied this to the other side of my head after I washed out the silver shampoo, and this is what it looks like when it was all applied. Again, I made an absolute mess and I got it all over my hands. So after I did my hair, I had to start on the extensions, and even though I got the lightest blonde extensions, they still needed toning. And whenever I tone extensions, I do it the same way. I fill the sink up with lukewarm water, add my silver shampoo, squish it around a little bit, and then just put the extensions into the basin. And this just gives you such an even toning, and it's so much easier than lathering up the shampoo and getting each different weft with it. I'll just leave it in there for about 5 minutes and I get a decent white that I can put the hair dye straight onto. So as I previously said, I just mixed up 1 pot to 1 pot of conditioner with the Atlantic Blue hair dye, and I just applied it to the hair extensions with a brush. Well, I tried to do it with a brush, but that's just too neat for me. I like to really just massage it into the hair, and it usually gets pretty messy, and I just find that if you use your hands to apply hair dye, it gets it done so much quicker, and you actually get all the hair rather than just pasting it on top with the brush. When you do that with the brush, you sometimes miss the hairs in between, and then you get a really patchy effect. I feel like that my extensions did come out a little bit patchy, but it wasn't like a bad patch, it just kind of looked like multi-tonal. I think maybe the silver shampoo didn't grab onto the blonde hair in all the right places, but I was actually really happy with the results, as you'll see in the end of the video. But this is just what I did, and I applied it to all the hair extensions, and I think I left it on for about 20 minutes. You don't actually need to leave it on that long on your hair extensions because you don't wash them that often. As soon as the dye takes to the hair, it just stains it. It's not like it needs to develop, but on our hair, if you're washing it all the time, you do need to leave it on longer so that it stains the hair better. But on extensions, you don't wash them that much, so I just tend to leave it on for about 20 minutes and then just wash it off in cold water and leave them to air dry. So for the black side of the hair, I used extensions that I had from before. These were ones that I got from cheekychickahair.com, and they were originally silver when I got them, but I dyed them this dark brown and teal colour because it was during the time when Kylie Jenner's hair was really popular. But because I'd only wore them a couple of times, I thought I might as well use them to dye the blue black shade rather than buy another set of extensions, because I have really thick hair. I use 2 or 3 sets, and this set I've barely worn, so I just dyed them. And again, I'm using the Garnier NUTRISSE Blue Black, and I actually found it really hard because I emptied all the hair dyes into a bowl, like the developer and the colour, and I should have just mixed them up in the bottles that they came with, because I just found it really hard to mix 3 dyes in this little bowl. But I got there in the end, and I just pasted it onto the hair extensions, and the instructions said that for a first time application you should leave it on for 25 minutes, but I left it for 40 just to be sure, because obviously that teal is really bright and I didn't want it peeking through or anything. I just applied it to all the wefts, and again just left it and then washed it off in cold water and left it to air dry.